women hiring managers who don't hire other women.
We want to schedule a second interview with you. Yeah, that's a good time. Yeah, because my kids don't get out of school until why are we talking about the kids?
Why people don't want to hire women with young children
is that women are forced to choose between a career and having children.
212,000 women have left the American workforce. 44,000 guys have entered it.
85% of women leaders said they will not hire a woman if they know that they have small children.
Because they want women to disappear from the data, and they want women to know their place.
"85% of women leaders said that they will not hire a woman if she knows that they have small children." 85% of women leaders said they will not hire a woman if they know that they have small children. Didn't that leader had small children at some point too? Maybe, maybe not. But 85%? Come on, girls. Let's help each other out. Jeez.
It reminded me of a situation I had. I was at the gym and somebody were talking to somebody and they said to me, well, I just don't hire women because they just go on maternity leave. Again, a bias, one that needs to be broke down and really addressed, and understanding that, yeah, we deal with different challenges. But just because we're moms, we're all parents. We all have opportunities to nurture. We all have aspirations and goals, and career is part of that for a lot of us. 8 out of 10 women are working and provide for our families at some point in our lives. So it shouldn't be an either or. I should put it that way. I mean, one of the biggest reasons we had this huge female recession is we pushed this idea that it's either family or work. We live life integrated. We live to have our families and have environments that welcome us to be parents, both men and women, right? And so my response to him was, we should have opportunity for both men and women to be able to spend time with their families after birth of a child. It's something that we should accept everyone as parents and provide those opportunities to nurture and be part of their family. It's not a specific, I'm naturally one way or another. I know that's something that's taught a lot, but I think that there's an opportunity to open our minds that it's just not always an accurate portrayal of how we really feel. And so I think there's opportunity there. There's a lot of other things. I actually have a lot of other things I've written down there, but I'll pause for there, open to thoughts on that, and really appreciate the vulnerability and openness in some of these things, because it is hard. And thank you.
So as you guys can see, right, we all thought it was only Black women. Right? We did, but it's not only Black women. It's all of them, right? What's happening is, you see what they're saying, 85% of female CEOs are not hiring them because they're going on maternity leave, different things, right? So what's happening is they're getting females out and men are coming in, right? What do I mean? Even the female CEOs, watch this.
Shut up, Mom! Silence from you! Okay. You're cut off from talking!
Women, think about it. And they think you won't notice. Look at the numbers as reported today in the New York Times. 212,000 women have left the American workforce since January. 44,000 guys have entered it. The gender pay wage gap is...
Hold up. You see how many women left and how many men entered in the same month? Something's happening, right? They're getting them out, bringing the guys in, guys that don't necessarily need maternity leave. Like, even when I took it when my son was born, I was out for maybe 2 weeks. You know, moms, they stay out, okay, I can't go back in right now. I need an extra month. They can't fire them right away, so they figure, Why hire them? I won't fire them, so why hire them?
What else are they doing? Well, just defunded to zero the Women's Bureau of the Department of Labor, calling it a relic of the past. For 105 years, it's been supporting working women in all manner of help. Women's apprenticeships, cut. Military committees to advance women in our services, shut down. Our defense secretary just stated publicly to 800 generals and admirals he doesn't want his son serving with women. Private companies stop reporting women in leadership as if if we don't measure, these people and women don't exist. This hurts. 45% of women are primary breadwinners in their family. 70% of black women are the primary earners in their families. So job loss means more kids go hungry, more rent goes unpaid, because they want women to disappear from the data, and they want women to know their place.
You can't make this.
Okay, you ready to know your place? You know what they think your place is. So this is a horrible time culturally for women and other marginalized folk. But the laws are still in place. See, that's my point. The laws, which have really never been better in terms of protections for women, people of color, etc., still there, ready to rock. Okay? Yet has changed. So you need to know what your rights are and you're being treated differently in your workplace. Harassed, bullied, dealing with microaggressions, termination, marginalization. I'm going to talk about that in the next video, what black women, black and brown women face, which is way worse in general than what white women face. But in general, women have it much worse than men, at least in American workplaces, if not everywhere else. So stand up and insist on your right to be equal.
So I know you're thinking it seemed kind of like he was against them, but he's not. Let me show you what this man does. Your employer, he's a Women's Rights New York, Women's Rights, Jack Turkner. Your employer can't force you to choose between your pregnancy and your paycheck. The pregnant workers. He's standing for the cause, right? But yeah, it's hard. It's hard on ladies. Employers finally are speaking out. And the wild thing is it's coming from the female employers. Why? Because they know who else to tell you but a female. They keep them in place just for you ladies. Ain't that something? You should feel appreciated. You're being treated special. Let's continue.
Talking about these hiring managers who are partly to blame for why everyone is experiencing a labor shortage. And I think I want to add a little nuance to this now. I want to talk about women hiring managers who don't hire other women. We all know that systemically, women were oppressed and largely rejected or barred from participating in the workforce. Generally, we know that, right? However, we also know today that most of the women in companies, most of the people in companies who have the power to make hiring and firing decisions, nowadays, those are women. And I can tell you from the experience of being a woman, those women do not like hiring other women into their organizations. And they specifically do not like hiring younger women into their organizations. And they do not like hiring younger educated women into their organizations. Ask anyone who is under the age of 35, under the age of 40 even, what they've gone through, especially ask any woman under those ages, what they've gone through in interviews, being interviewed by other women. Disappointing, sad, heartbreaking, tragic. As a sociologist in training with my sociology degree, I've always held the belief that it's other women who are the missing puzzle pieces to misogyny. It's other women who have political power, who have economic, financial power, who have hiring and firing power within organizations, who are still propping up misogyny and the patriarchy. because it's those women who either don't hire younger, educated women into their organizations, or when they do hire those younger, educated women into their organizations, they do everything in their power to drive them out, from being condescending, from being mean, from being nasty, from refusing to train them properly, from overburdening them with more work than the role or the job requires. It's insane. And before you run into my comments with your musty, dusty, not all women, or how can you claim to be for women's empowerment when you're saying these kinds of things, saying these kinds of things is women's empowerment, because part of empowerment is holding oneself accountable for one's actions. And we need to hold these women hiring managers accountable for their actions. We need to hold them accountable for being mean and nasty to younger women entering the workforce full time. We need to hold them accountable for the way they drive out talent out of the workforce. We need to hold them accountable for the way they drive out other women from industries and from entire entities and cause brain drain. We need to hold one another accountable for that, because it's very real and it happens. And you can ask any woman of really any age, and they'll tell you they've experienced some kind of nastiness from another woman, most likely in their organization. And that's so sad, and it needs to stop.
I've recorded this like 10 times and made 5-minute videos trying to tell you big giant stories to why I don't want those boxes there, but I think you know why, and I'm just going to go ahead and answer your specific question, because you clearly don't work in this industry. And for those of you that do not work in this industry that are curious as to what Melissa, the anti-gender boxes on resumes, thinks of, first of all, not having boxes on your resume helps this, because you're only going to be judged, at least until the initial interview, like in-person interview, by your resume, which is, I don't know how much more equal you can get than that. But let's say a company doesn't hire me because I'm a woman. First of all, they're never going to tell you that, because that's still illegal and they could be taken to court for that. But why on God's green earth would I force a company to hire me that doesn't want to hire me, or a boss that doesn't want to hire me and already put a bad taste in their mouth and have a horrible work experience, when there's 10 shops down the road that don't that I'm a woman and will hire me yesterday? Like, why am I even, I mean, at this point, I'm just wasting my time with this company. You know, jobs are like men, ladies. If they don't see your value and they don't understand your value, you're wasting your time. Move on. Like, why are you even wasting your time on this company that doesn't value you, whether it's your gender or whatever? Why are you wasting your time? Why do you care? Yeah, okay, they're a very, very rare occurrence of actual sexism in this industry. And this is from experience. That is rare. Congratulations. You're experiencing the most thing in this industry, which is negative sexism towards women. Congratulations. Because at least you know that, and at least you're not wasting your time at a company that will...
See, I think people have a little confused. To me, it's not sexism against you females, right? It's the smarter choice. What's happening is men are naturally the safer bet. To be honest with you, I'm not one of those guys that say, oh, you know, it should be the way it used to be. But think about the way it was before, right? Before work came in and you ladies had to go out and work. What happened is you went out and worked and you never stopped, right? But what's going on is this. A lot of you ladies, because the kind of rules they have right now in corporate America, you go out, you get hired, you're given maternity leave at most jobs, especially corporate jobs, right? They kind of have to give you maternity leave. It's in the laws, right? So you take it. Like, I remember they had it when I was working at Cablevision, right? They gave maternity leave. I was able to take off for a month. If I needed longer, I could take off for 2 months, 3 months. I only took the month. Why? Because I was the one making the money. I needed to go make the money. It made more sense when I got my commission check. So I went back into work. Ladies, on the other hand, you'll take that extra time off to spend more time with the kid. And that's not okay with these jobs. Like, they feel it. They feel like they need you there. And With men, it's just a safer bet. It's nothing against you. It's not. But this is what's happening, and the market is just correcting itself.
All right, you guys, I saw a TikTok the other day that really fired me up being a working type of parent, so hear me out. This woman went on and on about how corporations do not hire or do not put at the top of their hire list women that have children because we're going to put our kids first before our jobs. Y'all, I do my job very, very well. I am very good at whatever the hell it is that I go into employment for. But if my daycare calls, if anybody has an issue with my children, if I have to go pick them up, if I have to be in an event, my workplace, and they understand that. Whatever you do not put your job, your employment, your employer before your children. Yes, we all have to make an income. Yes, we've got to pay the bills. Yes, we've got to pay our mortgage and our rent. But I'm telling you, there are options. If you're sick and tired of employment, if you are done with trying to find employment and you've got a degree, you've got something that you went to school for and you're in debt for and can't find a position anywhere that's suitable for you, maybe the online space is for you. If you're ready, if you are open to learn multiple avenues, that is 20 plus ways to earn an income here online.
Nobody's unwilling to hire women. Ooh, great question. I'm at the age of getting engaged, and I've heard people say, like, don't show your ring on calls. God forbid you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant.
I hate the answer I'm going to give you because it's so sad.
Go for it.
Yes, talking about getting engaged. Congrats.
Thanks.
It'll be like, oh, but she's going to go on a honeymoon, and then she's going to get married, and then she's probably going to have babies and then not be here. There is a sad reality where we're still dealing with this, where it's almost like, well, maybe take your engagement ring off before you go to an interview. I hate that those words are even coming out of my mouth. With my second pregnancy, I didn't want anyone to know. I was like, they're going to think I'm not committed. There's like this very frustrating stigma that I'm not going to be connected or committed or great at my job. And this time around, like this current pregnancy, I've like trying to show, hey, you're capable of doing more than one thing at a time. And I am trying to be proud of it and show it. And I found that like being authentic and vulnerable has actually opened up a broader, better client pool for me. And the people who don't like it are probably not the people I want to be working with.
I don't know what the solution is, but you know what makes me sick to my stomach is that women are forced to choose between a career and having children. Unless you're extremely privileged that you have people that are willing to provide you with free childcare, you have to make a choice. The system that we live in is literally built to fail women, and no one with a family can survive on one income these days. So what are you supposed to do? And then people who avail of certain things like benefits, they're looked down upon, but literally all the odds are stacked against you. So let's say you choose to take a career break so that you can be there for your children as and when they're needed. You're going to be unemployable by the time that it's time for you to go back to work because you've had such a lack of knowledge in any industry that you've been working in for maybe 5-10 years. And also, do you ever notice how all the industries that are predominantly female-based, like nursing, teaching, caring, whatever it happens to be, they're chronically underpaid. No matter what way you look at it, you're going to be... And I'm sure I won't be the first or the last to experience this, but how many of us have been working a job just so that we can keep a foot in the working world, and your whole salary is literally spent on getting somebody else to care for your child? It makes me sick. I don't know what the solution is, but surely like some people need to sit around a table and talk about this and work it out, because you can't do it both ways.
What's happening is ladies have to understand, right? You actually contributed to things being hard. When things were left in our hands, things were more smooth. Like, let me tell you like this. See, men, we're not that social. Like the fact that you ladies are saying, or you're looking for men, we're not looking for you. The reason why is because that's the solitary life men live. We have to go out of it alone. We're used to going at it alone. We're used to dealing with the hardships. Men brush the hardships right off our shoulder like it's dust. Seriously. All the hardships I go through in my life, it's like, get that dirt off my shoulder because I know what I'm worth, right? All men, we know what we're worth. We know what we bring to the table. What happens is since you ladies stepped in, you're taking all the cushy jobs, and the cushy jobs, they don't want you. They want you at work. So what's happening is men, they're in those same cushy jobs. They can easily replace you with men, and it's being done now. The market is correcting itself. Understand it, don't hate it, accept it. It's not cool.
I hate to break it to you, but there is no interview question that should reveal the fact that you are a parent. It doesn't exist. Tell me about yourself. Parenthood, personal life, whatever should never come up as the answer to that question. The answer to that question is very simple. It is about you professionally. What brought you here and how can you help solve my problem, the company's problem? That is it. I hear answers like, "Oh, I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent, I've got this going on, I've got that going on." I'm just like, whoa, there is no interview question that should reveal you are a parent. Now, there's someone in the comments that mentioned something about them having a gap in their resume, and answering the question to the gap in their resume was, "Hey, I took some time off to raise children." That is probably the only way you should be revealing the fact that you are a parent, because taking time off to take care of your children, very important responsibility. But that employer needs to know that you took the time off, you came back to work, and you're ready to work. Anything else can be used against you. Like, you start mentioning, "Hey, I've got this appointment coming up. I got that appointment coming up." I get it all the time. I swear to you, I'm not joking. I will ask a candidate, "Hey, so, this interview went really well. We want to schedule a second interview with you. Do you have time on Thursday, like around 1 o'clock?" And the responses, would be, "Yeah, that's a good time. Yeah, because my kids don't get out of school until..." Just say yes. It works. Nod. Yes, you want the job. Yes, that works. Nod and get the confirmation. Talking about kids and the schedules and this might work and I can see if I can get someone to pick up my kid. All of this sounds like, is she going to be calling out a lot? Is she going to be taking off work a lot? Are the kids' schedules, working around the schedule of his? All of it sounds like holes for them to pick at and say, "You know what, maybe we should go in a different direction. Maybe, sounds a little messy. I don't know, but my spidey senses are tingling, and maybe I should go in a different direction." Not by me. I'm just saying what other people hear. So keep it simple, keep it professional, need to know basis. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna have to start selling feet pictures because this.
Is she in her children's room right now? I bet you she did exactly what the lady just explained in an interview. Nobody's hiring. You're on a hiring job. They said, "Okay, come in at 1 p.m. Same thing happened to her. She's in her children's room right now. Looks like kids' books behind her. I don't know. I can't tell.
I'm gonna have to start selling feet pictures because this job market is unreal. I have never seen a job market like this. I've never had so much trouble finding a job. When can anybody ever tell me before that you have applied for hundreds and hundreds of jobs? Like, I have years of experience in healthcare, in customer service, in education. I have a bachelor's degree that I can't even use. At this point, I have applied for more than 600 jobs. Wow. I am running out of thoughts to put on cover letters. I am running out of everything. Am I using ChatGPT? Absolutely. Aren't we all? Because we don't know what else to say on the cover letters.
They're using ChatGPT to write a cover letter. Now, anybody that's had my program before, this is the way. I show how to use AI to make a serious bag. I use it for everything I do, not for being a slave. We gotta wake up, y'all. I teach everything I do. I show how to hire others to work for you. I show how to work online, and I show how to pretty much not pay taxes, all for $125. If anybody see, if one of you ladies see this, you can get my services, and trust me, I can show you how I have people beating down my door right now to hire me. No exaggeration, no lies.
We're trying to tweak our bullet points or our summaries because we don't know what else to say. Like, and the fact that I have to just end up waiting a few more days to go back on LinkedIn or Indeed or even just different company websites because it's the same thing, because I'm applying so much and it's constantly the same jobs. But the problem also is that these are ghost jobs. They're not even real. Or you continue to see the same job that, like, oh, you know, reposted 2 weeks ago, and yet it says, you know, 100 people have clicked on it. Well, then obviously they're just not even looking. But this is absolutely unreal. Obviously, costs are up. I'm in Illinois, so we've got tax on tax on tax on tax on tax. So our gas is nearing $4 because we have a new gas tax, and then we have the tax on the gas tax. And how are people supposed to survive? And I'm so tired of hearing like, oh, people are lazy and they don't want to work. Are you kidding me? I know I am not the only one. I see these TikToks all the time. People applying for hundreds of jobs. We're trying. Like, it's not a bunch of lazy people. Are there lazy people out there? Of course there are. But we're being put in with a lot of people that don't want to work when we're trying. I've seen people on LinkedIn who have applied for more than 1,000 jobs, which I'm not far from. But this is absolutely unbelievable. And I have applied, like, look, my bachelor's is in the healthcare field. Would I take something in customer service? Or, like, right now I just kind of do a little bit of side hustling education, like tutoring and stuff. Just give me a job where I can pay the bills and have some benefits. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Nobody's unwilling to hire women. Ooh, great question. I'm at the age of getting engaged, and I've heard people say, like, don't show your ring on.
The moment I knew I'd never get hired again. The interviewer was sitting across from me, a hiring manager who was maybe 32. He looked at my resume, 20 years at Fortune 500 companies, operations, systems, strategy, and he says, wow, that's an impressive background, but we're really looking for someone who can grow with the company long term. I sat there nodding like, yes, that makes sense. But here's what he actually said. You're too old, and we're worried you'll retire soon or cost too much. That was the moment. Not anger, just clarity. They're never going to hire me, no matter how qualified I am. So I stopped trying to convince them. And I started building my own business, utilizing AI instead. And that was the best decision I ever made. If you felt that, you're not alone.
The industry that is about to govern how healthcare, hiring, education, and economic mobility unfolds for decades. Deepfakes disproportionately target women. Jobs held by women are far more likely to be automated away. AI hiring tools make women younger and less experienced while rating older men as the best candidates. This bias is not theoretical, it's actually being baked into the code. So it's no wonder that women aren't exactly flocking to AI, and only a handful of the top AI companies have female founders. Women still only receive about 2% of venture capital funding, but the infrastructure that will run everything is being built in rooms that do not reflect the population. And the people it harms most are the ones being excluded from shaping it. Who gets to decide how society unfolds in the future is being determined.
Well, you have to understand, men have always been the top of these fields. Ladies just simply don't go into the fields. You may have what, 5% of you ladies trying to go into it? So you're never going to dominate it until there's more ladies that sees it attractive. They see little cushy jobs where they sit in the office and do their thing. That's an office job, but not necessarily. That's more of a work 100 hours kind of job when you're doing AI and things like that. And ladies are not willing to put 100 hours into a lot of things. They have family to take care of.
Right now, and if women are not in the room while AI is being built, the consequences won't be temporary, they'll be generational. And that's why
Yeah, there will be.
For friggin' real. Seriously. This is why people don't want to hire women with young children. This person's in recruitment. Because they aren't as productive. They want loads of extra accommodations. And they're always off. A business isn't a charity. Are you absolutely... When a woman becomes a parent, a mum, their skill set is incredible. You try, right? Seriously, you try getting out for work on time after you've had multiple battles with your child, getting them dressed, getting them fed, brushing their teeth, getting everything done, getting yourself sorted, getting to school, right? Are you absolutely kidding me? And getting them, and then getting to work on time, ready to start your day. You tried that before you actually get to work. Honestly, women are flipping superheroes. And the other thing, it shouldn't just be down to the woman. So how dare businesses, and this gets me so cross, how dare businesses turn around and say they're not going to hire women with young children? Because at the end of the day, men need to start pulling their weight as well, right? We need to actually have a better gender equity here. Men are dads, right? The second parent is also the second parent. It's a two-parent flipping job, right? Why is it that it falls onto the woman's shoulders to do this? Are they going to turn around and say, we're not going to employ men of a certain age because they've got kids and stuff like that? Do you know what? What are these the sort of employers that say, oh, why can't your wife pick your kid up from school? Why can't your wife get your kid from nursery? Do you have to go to the production? You're a man, you're a dad. Is that really what we actually want to be at? Or do we want to be at a place where actually parents are parents and they're both raising children together, and we respect parents for being there and raising children and going out and having a career? Women are flipping superheroes. And I'll tell you something, this makes me cross. Some of the research that I've done, and you're more than welcome to, if you go to the workplace-sleep-coach.com, you will see some of the research that I've done. The latest research paper that I put out showed that even when women get to senior management positions and higher, they are still carrying 52% more of the mental load, the unpaid domestic labour, than men. Men are picking up 13%. 13 compared to a woman's 52%. They're still doing the same job, right? We cannot be turning around and saying that. We have to actually say, do you know what? The next generation of women, the next generation of girls that are going to be women are going to be having careers, because that's just the way the world is now. What are we going to do to make sure men and women, when they come into the workplace and they have families, what are we going to do to make sure that they are supported? Because this is not the right attitude. That's made me so cross.
Ever felt in my life. I'm literally holding resumes, a stack of them, so that I can go in person to places and say, are you guys hiring? It's honestly a little bit embarrassing.
How?
Because I'm literally applying for like minimum wage jobs, and some of them are being like, we're not hiring, and it's like, what? This is not what I expected. I graduated college with 2 degrees in communications and acting. I speak 3 languages. Oh,
Communications and acting.
like,
wow.
I just want to be a TikToker, if I'm being so for real with you. But I can't be delusional anymore. Like, I literally need to make money, so I'm just gonna keep trying.
Yeah, this is what's happened, and it's gonna be a long, hard road. But welcome to your future, ladies. And it's not just the ladies of my color; it's all ladies. And then the ones that are doing it to you are ladies. But you see our HR. I think I had 2 HR recruiters in these videos. They're telling you the mistakes you're making. Right? You're getting hired and then saying, "Oh, I can do it. I just gotta, make sure my son is picked up," or "Yeah, I think my son is picked up." You're messing it up for you. Stepping on your own 2 feet with your hands. Ain't that crazy? You can't step with your hands, but you ladies are doing it. You're making everything impossible. Stop it. Get some help.
The Iceman is coming!
Winter is here.